we had great concerns about the safety profile of these materials and begged that they not be developed further. And our objective was to reach many people, and I don't think we succeeded because of censorship. So when I tell you that these are toxic by design, I knew that 3 years ago. And unfortunately, I've been correct. So I would like you to treat what I've told you seriously. It's not a guess. This arises out of my experience of over 30 years teamwork in designing molecules and then working out what happens. So the first decision that I will point to that is obviously harmful is the very fact that these are gene-based materials. So mRNA, I will focus on those, but the principles are pretty much the same with the others. The mRNA vaccines, they encode something. They encode a protein sequence. The key thing for me, though, in this first comment is they're not your protein. They don't belong in your body. The reason your immune system is able to, as I put it, play nice with itself most of the time, but if you're infected, it will go to war, is that your immune system is exquisitely aware of self, what's meant to be in your body, and non-self or foreign, things that are not meant to be inside you. When you are injected with mRNA encoding something that's not human, we're told it was a virus spike protein, but whatever it was, it's not human. Your body takes up that genetic instruction and starts to manufacture something that does not belong in your body. Your immune system goes to war and kills every single cell that has taken up that material and made the foreign protein. That, ladies and gentlemen, is by design. It's what those particular formulae do. They cannot do anything else. Now, when I first encountered these products, it was at least 10 years ago at Pfizer, and they were being considered, like other companies were in the industry, as potential anti-cancer treatments. We figured if we could direct them to a rogue cell, a cancer cell, your immune system would recognize it now as foreign and kill it. It's quite a clever idea. It's called immuno-oncology. So the technology does exist for a reasonable reason. But to give it to healthy people, a mass market application, I'm certain, and I was certain 3 years ago, would induce lethal autoimmune attack on every cell and tissue in your body to which that material went. And every person involved in the manufacture of these materials from the industry knew it too. I would call it Immunology 101. It's the first thing you would be taught about immunology, the difference between self and non-self. Now, that's a devastating piece of information, but it's not the only one. The second one I will point to is the actual protein that was coded by the mRNA, the so-called spike protein, the bits illustrated on the television as sticking out from the outside of the sphere that is allegedly this virus. Now, spike proteins are not inert. They're biologically active in their own right. They are biological toxins. If you add spike protein to human blood cells, the blood begins to coagulate. So these instructions caused your body not only to make something that was alien to you, foreign to you, not human, but those instructions caused you to manufacture something that was directly toxic to your body, would induce blood clots if it was in the blood, and neurological harms if it was near any nervous tissue as well. So that's the second thing. The design choice was to manufacture something that's dangerous. Now, that wasn't necessary. They could have chosen anything else about this alleged virus. But no, they chose the thing that was toxic. But there's worse things even than that. The alleged spike protein was supposedly the site of the highest rate of mutation in this alleged virus, and that means the vaccine would stop working very quickly. And then finally, the sequence of the spike protein is somewhat similar to some proteins in your body. If you're female, for example, it's somewhat similar to vital proteins of pregnancy. They're called syncytins. And so if you manufacture a situation where your body makes a powerful immune response to this foreign protein, it wouldn't be surprising if there was a little bleed over and your immune system started attacking your own pregnant uterus. which was one of the specific things Dr. Bodog and I were concerned about in 2020. And I'm afraid that's come true. Then I've got another one, which is devastating. And I've mentioned this 2 years ago. These so-called vaccines were formulated, and that's normal. Drugs are normally formulated in a capsule or a tablet or a spray. And in this case, they're liquids, and they're formulated in essentially a little fatty globule molecules called lipid nanoparticles. Now, the lipids themselves are novel. Some of them are novel and are known to be toxic. So it was a bad idea to inject you with novel and known to be toxic lipids. But putting that aside, the even worse thing is that the lipid nanoparticles surrounded and protected this foreign genetic sequence. Why was that important? Well, if you just inject foreign DNA into your body, you will not be surprised to learn that your body doesn't like foreign DNA. It's an RNA. It's a very good idea to get rid of it so you preserve your own genetic instructions. So covered in lipids, it allowed the instruction, the so-called vaccine, to glide around your body and distribute all around your body into your heart, your brain, your uterus, and indeed everywhere in your body. And that was the purpose of the formulation. Those formulations were developed specifically to allow vulnerable compounds or compounds that wouldn't spread around the body to do so in a protected manner. And so that's what they did. They didn't stay on your shoulder, as some people may have told you. They distributed swiftly all around the body. Now, one of the things that was particularly shocking is that lipid nanoparticles were known 10 years ago to accumulate in the ovaries. So I believe every girl and woman who was given these materials had this injection of dangerous, designed to injure you material that accumulated in your ovaries. So I could come up with many more. There are clever molecular biologists who've looked at the sequences and believe that there are at least 2 or 3 other designed-in features that increase the propensity to harm you when you take these materials. But I think I've given you enough already from an experienced drug discoverer that I hope you'll believe me when I say, when I looked at these, I declare them toxic by design. They are intentionally harmful. Now, I think that fits perfectly with the lie you've been told about a pandemic. There isn't one. The purpose of the pandemic, I think, was to damage the economy, to get us used to doing what we're told under a mock emergency, and to roll up our sleeves to receive these dangerous materials. So where are we now after almost 4 years? I still think we're given fear-based messages almost every day. And here's where I think we're going to be. This is not, because it's not a natural phenomenon, it's not going to be over. It will just continue and morph into a more and more aggressive form of totalitarian dictatorship. So I think I'm right about this. I think it's malevolent and intentionally harmful, and it will continue. And I believe in short, if you do nothing and don't speak up and do what you're told, you will lose your freedom and then your life. I think some self-appointed group of very rich people have decided they don't like 8 billion people being on the planet and want it to be a much smaller number. I don't have a copy of the script, but I can deduce what they're doing. So given the warning I've provided to you, I suggest that you get weaving and start talking to anyone and everyone, and do so relentlessly, because this is not going away. And if we do not protest, if we do not refuse and fight back, we will lose freedom first and then our lives. And I think it will be as simple as this, that mandatory digital ID will arise, which is not necessary. That's what they need in order to control us. Then I think we'll lose cash and only have digital money. And I think the combination of digital ID and digital money means control of every single thing you do, every movement, every purchase will be in the hands of a computer program. And you'll never escape it. There's no way to turn it off. Don't sign up for it. This warning I give to people: if you ignore what I've said and I'm right, it will be the end. If, on the other hand, you think there's something in what I've said and you do something about it, the very worst that will happen to you is you'll be laughed at. I don't think I'm completely wrong, and I urge that you do something with this information. And thank you very much for your attention.